Good morning, this is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is a pre-market webinar for the morning of Thursday, the 19th of February. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing, learn from it, transfer it to your own charts, and I'm not here to issue trading signals. Right, okay, looking at ES, we've now reached the possible near miss target, and we reached the full target on NQ, on the buy signal there, and RTY reached the full target, and YM has reached the possible near miss target. That's basically cleared out all the buy signals. On DAX, we've got a 60-minute sell signal fixed yesterday, and that's now reached the, put on the last night, but that's now reached the possible near miss target. And ESTX had one brewing, and that's fixed and almost reached possible near miss target. Overall, there's no real lean either way in terms of the signals. However, what I would say is I've been talking about this for a few days, but I was talking about the bearish period coming up, and it's starting. We're over 60% bearish on SPX today, almost 70% bearish tomorrow, 60% bearish on Monday. So we've got a 3-day slot here, which is significantly bearish. Next week's pretty neutral, but basically is the last day of the month is very bearish, and unusually, the first day of the next month, 1st of March, first day of trading day of March, is also, first day is bullish, second day is bearish. After that, we've got a series of fairly neutral weeks. But this 3-day bearish period is what I'm watching particularly carefully, because we've got a real possibility of doing some significant damage to the downside. And actually, in terms of, if you draw a line across here, and we've got this on the RTH charts as well, that is a possible head and shoulder neckline on ES. This would be the left shoulder, this would be the head, this would be the right shoulder, and it's actually quite a nice one. I'm wondering whether we might we've got a possibility of seeing a significant push down, and right now would be the obvious time to do that. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I'm thinking it might. And if it did, this would, a sustained breakdown below that 6750 area would have a target in about the 6450 area. That would be a pretty decent move. So I'm watching out for that. We're still 130 points above the neckline, but we will see how that goes. But I'm quite liking that scenario, and this would, and if that is going to play out, this would be the obvious time to do that. All right, NQ. The other thing to mention on ES, we've got this double bottom that's broken up, but often, of course, these just fell down to the lows. First step on getting to this neckline would be a fell down to the lows. NQ, we've got another double bottom, which is broken up, and again, could be falling back into the lows. On RTY, not really seeing an awful lot here, possible flag forming. I've got more to say about all these on the RTH charts though, but this looks like a bear flag forming on YM, which may well be setting up just to retest this low. DAX and ESTX, signals are suggesting bearish, but they're pretty much played out at this stage. ESTX might get back to the weekly pivot on it, but anything lower than that would have to be from something else. Although I would say we've got a nice looking little level top here. We shall see. Looking at Nikkei. Nikkei, I've been watching a possible, it's not as nice, but I've got a possible head and shoulders forming here too. This would be the left shoulder, this would be the right, the head, this would be the right shoulder. Sustained breakdown would give us a potential shot at a test of the monthly pivot at 52.759. We will see. All right, great. Let's have a look at the bigger picture charts. And, all right, obviously, we saw a test of the daily middle band at the high yesterday, and that is obvious resistance, and so far is holding on ES. We saw the same on SPX, and you can see that was a very nice test. And this is the obvious backtest level to, if we're just going to continue down from. Looking at the hourly chart, we've got an RSI 14 buy signal fixed, which is still in progress, and they do have a fairly good track record. 15-minute, the RSI 14 buy signal made target. All right, looking at Qs. Qs hasn't even got close to a test of the daily middle band, and this is one thing that's really dragging down the market. Now, we do have a potential little level at the bottom here, which could get us back up to the highs, but at the moment, Qs look pretty much dead in the water. As long as that remains the case, then actually there's potentially quite a lot of room for everything on the downside. Looking at the 60-minute chart, no RSI 14 signal. The RSI 5 buy signal made target. On the 15-minute chart, the RSI 14 buy signal made target as well. This is the potential level bottom, and it's not bad. Not bad at all. So we will see. But that would be if we see a bullish tear instead on this historically bearish leading series of days, then that would be an option I would be looking at. Looking at Dire, Dire still hasn't made it quite back to this support trend line here. The flag is encouraging, and I've got that currently in about the 491 area. Looking at the hourly chart, nothing on the RSI 14, RSI 5 buy signal made target. RSI 14 buy signal made it to the possible near miss target, but you can see we've not made it to these support trend lines on either of the wedges going from April last year or on November. So that looks like a bit of unfinished business, at least to the downside. All right, let's have a look at the IWM charts. IWM, on the daily chart, we're still on an old RSI 14 sell signal that's fixed. This, at the moment, I'm leaning towards this being a bullish consolidation. If we go lower and touch this trend line here, then that could be a bull flag forming. And we will see how that goes. Yeah, we will see how that goes. But I'm thinking if we do go down, then that could stop when we got down into this area here, or possibly at the trend line. All right, I'm looking at the hourly chart, no current divergence. I'm looking at the 15-minute chart, no current divergence either. Looking at DAX, still quite liking the retest of the high. We made it back up to the daily upper band. As long as we're holding the daily middle band of support, and that held like a champ for several days, then I'm still leaning towards seeing a retest of the high. On Nikkei, we've seen a little bit of a pullback, might just be a bull flag forming, setting up a retest. We will see. If we get that, then we could get an RSI 5 sell signal brewing on the daily chart to go along with the RSI 14 one, which fixed a while ago, which hasn't really been doing anything. All right, great. But the RSI, I would say RSI 5 signals here are the main ones I look at on the Nikkei. We've got 1, 2, 3 on this chart. They all made target. If you have a look at the this one was close, but went slightly too low at the 50 level, just below the 50. Otherwise, this would have made target too. On the RSI 14s, well, there are 3 on this chart. One of them's not doing anything, and the other 2 failed. So it's the RSI 5s I watch. So if we do see that high retest, that's something I'd be looking out for. All right, great. Let's have a look at DX. DX, we're heading back up and we're retesting this high here. We already retested the low on USD and GBP USD. Could this be a bear flag forming? Yes, it could. A, B, C. So the higher high does not necessarily mean a bullish break or anything. So looking at Euro, no current divergence. GBP, we've got a 60-minute buy signal fixed and not delivering anything. This is looking less like a double top now and more like a continuing trend, very possibly a flag. Hang on, I'll just redraw that line. Hang on. So this would be the flag resistance trend line, and I've got to say, overall, still got a lovely bullish setup here on US dollar, but I think it's not a good fit with what the administration's doing, and at the moment it's showing absolutely no sign of breaking out. In which case, we'd be more likely to see a bull flag here break up and continue higher, and the inverted version of that on the US dollar. USD JPY, arguable double bottom that's broken up here. I might draw in the arrows later. I drew in the double bottom resistance. I've got serious doubts about this delivering anything. In terms of USD CAD, it's kind of looking like a flag forming again. Obvious retest of this high coming, and we'll be watching that and maybe drawing that flag. Australian dollar, we have got a possible double top. NZ, this again looks like a bull flag forming. Mon George. We will see how these go. All right, let's have a look at ZB. ZB, we have a nice looking little rising wedge here, and then that's broken down. Might just be a bullish retracement, could be a bull flag forming. We had a sell signal, and that's made target now. On ZN, Nothing is clear. We've got a 60-minute sell signal fixed, not made target yet, which suggests that we're likely to go at least a bit lower. CL, I was talking about this being a bullish consolidation and possible triangle, and well, here we are. So this could be the second high of a double top. I would say I don't think this is then connected to the build-up of US forces in the Middle East and possible military action against Iran. I think this is telling us that in the event there is some significant military action against Iran, then oil may go up quite a bit, which is kind of what you'd normally expect oil to do. HO, again, bullish consolidation. Again, we have gone higher and we've retested this high now. RBOB, nice looking rising wedge here. Wedge resistance is up at about the 2.03 area, and not seeing any obvious reason to think that won't make target. I do have a possible sell signal brewing on HO here, but I would say I did have sell signals brewing on CL and RBOB, and both of those we lost divergence. NG is still trickling lower, no current divergence, still a potential double bottom set up here, but the more it trickles lower, the less likely that is to deliver. GC, sideways consolidation likely resolves into retest of the low. SI, sideways consolidation likely resolves into a retest of the low. Might see a bit higher first, wondering about the monthly pivot at 90.28 as a target. Possible weak 60-minute sell signal brewing. Palladium. Palladium looks like a sideways consolidation, and which should deliver a retest of the low. Platinum, the same. HG, pretty close to retesting the low already. We had a weak 60-minute sell signal, and that's now reached the possible near miss target. Could this be a possible little inverted head and shoulders here? Yes, that is possible. So if we find support here, we could find we had a rally which at least took us to the weak pivot and might have made target get us up into about the 6.03 area. All right, looking at KC, still trickling down, possible 60-minute buy signal brewing, but I'm thinking we may well just continue down. SB, bit of a rally here, not looking particularly significant so far. CC, continuing down, possible 60-minute buy signal brewing, but again, we've been seeing a lot of downside here, and I'm not seeing anything compelling suggesting that's stopping. CT, consolidating sideways at the moment, keeping an open mind. Is there a possible IHS here? Yes, but the right shoulder looks too unbalanced, really. Lumber, this could be a bull flag forming, but I think the longer we trade sideways here after this double bottom broke up, the more likely it is we'll just resume what's likely to be an overall downtrend. On ZW retesting this high, possible double bottom set up here, but I wouldn't be surprised to see it go higher. Corn still looks like a bear flag forming. Soy, possible little double top here. 6-minute sell signals already reached the possible near miss target though. On ZL, we've got continuation higher. I've drawn in the rising support trend line here, no current divergence. LE, looks like it wants to retest this high here. That could give us a second high of a double top, but really we're just trading in a range at the moment. HE, broke down from the rising channel, has retraced almost 50% of the way. Weak 6-minute buy signal fixed. Thinking this looks like it's going to rally some more, but it's not really been delivering so much so far. All right, let's have a look at questions. And hang on, George, do you want me to cover anything again? As you were late? No? Okay, in that case, I think that's a wrap. Everyone take care. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. All right, cheers.